Hello, Ryan. Nice to see you. Hello, Ashley. I can see somebody called Ashley has joined. Ryan, as you can see, I'm playing what you sent to me Valentine's Day last year. I think was it last year? Was this year, wasn't it? Hi, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining. We're just going to wait for a couple more people. We're going to wait for a couple more people just to join us. So while we're waiting, you can listen. Maybe I should turn down the music a little bit, but I don't know if you remember. Ryan, do you remember this? Anyway, this is episode 11. Hello, Yemi. Thanks for joining us. Nice to have you. I'm just listening to something that my guest today sent to me on Valentine's Day. It's supposed to be a mixtape. Is it? No, we don't call them mixtapes anymore. It was a mix, an official gospel mix. Hello, Aunty. Thank you for joining me again today, my darling aunt. Thank you, Aunty. Yes, I do. You love it. I love making it. You see, I brought it out specially for you. Sadike, thank you so much for joining us. Nice to have you. Like I said, this is episode 11 of Young and Strong. I mean, I can't believe I'm doing the 11th one. It's just so amazing. It's so amazing. I've had an awesome time with all my guests so far. My 10 guests so far. My guest today is going to be my 11th one. And this is, I'm sure it's going to be another interesting, lovely time. So I'm looking forward to talking today again. I've had, let me see if I can remember all my people. I started with Abby, Tony, Ira, Ore, Shanova, Dami, Emanuela, Ife, Temi, Dimimu, and it's just been awesome. It's just been awesome. So Ryan, should we do this or should we wait? Whenever you're ready. We're just waiting for more people to just join us online, but I don't like talking too much on these things. So I'm always ready whenever my guests are for us to just keep it going. And I know that people will join us as we go on. I'm going to turn the music off now because I think it's getting a little loud. But yes, we're ready to go. So, Ryan, I'm going to bring you on because I know we're going to have a lot of gist today. Yes, I'm sure I should be bringing you up right about now. Yes.
Hi, Aunty.
My gosh, Ryan. I'm fine. Thank you. How are you doing? I hope we're not going to get too much of a spotty connection. How are you, son?
I'm fine, thank you, Aunty. How are you?
Well, where in the world are you? Because I can't keep track of you. I can't keep track of you anymore. I used to know where you are, but right now I'm never sure where you are. So Ryan, where are you?
I'm currently in Jamaica.
No way.
I went home, Aunty, finally.
You're gone to Jamaica or you're on holiday?
Just holiday. Who let
you out of the UK?
Boris did. Boris said you can leave and I left.
What? Oh my God. Hi, Chichi. How are you? Hello, everyone joining us. Guess who I've got is Ryan. I plan to, maybe I'm going to reveal a few of your secrets. There has my sister. Why didn't we on a phone call? I'm going to cut off. I'm glad you showed up here. We're going to reveal some of your secrets today, Ryan. I've known Ryan since he was 12, or was he 13? From the days of Stand Up to the Bullies. But we won't go there yet. We won't go there.
Auntie, don't do
you
it.
beg me all this time. All that time is payback time, Ryan. It's payback time. Why did you think I was just going to bring you up here to go my gist? No. It's opportunity for you. It's my platform, man. It's opportunity for me for payback for you to say you're sorry for all the stuff.
I'm sorry. I'll say it now. I'm sorry.
I hope you can drive now. All the time I was your chauffeur. Anyway, there's forgiveness in my heart for you. Anyway, everyone, this is Ryan. This is my guest for today. On Instagram, he's DJRMB_1. I got that right, yeah?
Yes,
Yes. Yes. But to me, he's Ryan. So it took me a while for me to find you on
always will
Instagram.
be. Yeah.
Anyway, Ryan, tell us a little, let's kick it off. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Ryan. Who is Ryan?
Well, my name is Ryan. I'm 23 years old now. I live in South London. I'm a Christian, always first and foremost. Um,
Better be.
I Caribbean. I'm Caribbean. And I am a musician. Yeah, let's just leave it there.
Ah, you're a musician.
Yes, yes.
So Ryan, I know, have you finished uni now, or you're almost, have you finished uni now, or
Almost finished
you're
now. Yeah,
almost
yeah.
finished, and you're studying engineering, weren't you?
Yes, I'm Aunty.
Yes, yes. So what kind of music do you do, Ryan? I know I mean, with what you sent to me, a DJ, but I remember in your teen years, you used to play drums and we made you sing as well. But currently, what kind of music do you do? Tunde, hi. Nice to see you finally.
Okay,
That's my brother.
so currently now I've just been playing at various events. So you can catch me at like a 16-year-old's birthday party or prom events that are coming up now. You'll be seeing me a lot. I also do a lot of weddings. That's one thing that has been major for me, to be able to actually play at a wedding. Um, and just little things like that. Obviously, I'm making sure that at the end of the day, I know that it's God that gave me the gift of music. So I never want to forget that. I never want to sway away from that too much because I know that He can take it away the same way He gave it to me. So yeah.
Okay, so is this like do you still play when you say you make music, do you still play the instruments or do you
Yeah,
just
yeah. So I also obviously every Sunday I go back to KICC to play in Host Street.
okay.
I'm still playing my instruments. I still go to studio. I'm still working with a lot of different people in terms of like the music industry.
Right.
So yeah, it got a lot of things coming up as well, and you've got a lot of little projects coming up. I've been asked to play at a lot of worship like nights and stuff. So
Right.
a lot of things
Right.
to look forward to.
Okay, somebody says making us proud. Yeah, he's making me proud, and I hope when you get big, you remember those of us who were
Of
there when
course.
you were just 12-year-old. I'm
Of
sorry,
course I
Ryan. I
will.
can't help it. I can't help it. I
It's
can't
fine.
help it. All right, so that's Ryan, DJ, making music. I thank God for that and all that. So, Ryan, tell me. Yes, yes, I've seen you go through your teenage years. You're 23 now. What is it like being a young man in these times? I mean, having gone through your teenagers, you're now a young man. What is it like being a young person in this season?
Um, I will say it is draining to an extent. So I feel like a lot of things that are out in the world at the moment can drain, like can really make you question, oh, like, am I doing enough? Am I, especially as a young person growing up, it's like all you used to think is, okay, secondary school, uni, get my job, and that's it. But there's so many now different turns. Like obviously, there's different routes you can take as well.
Yes.
Everyone wants to make their own money, but then it's like you don't want to wait for someone to show you, oh, this is a correct way of doing it. Now there's things like cryptocurrency. Now there's things that obviously there's still people on the streets trying to make their own little hustle, everything like that. And it's just everything that you see right now is just it is kind of it hurts. I won't lie, it does hurt because when I look out, I'm just like I'm your age. Like there's nothing different between us two. Maybe the way we grew up, yes, but I made certain decisions that made me this way, and then I feel like you've made certain decisions that made you this way, but why could we not be on the same path? I know it's naive to think that everyone has the same path, and it's naive to think that everyone can follow the same route that you can follow. But it's like, if I can make it out of the ghetto, if you want to say it like that, why can't everyone else? Why can't you just choose the right things, have people around you that will guide you, pattern you, like really be accountable to you, and just, yeah, go that way? Because it really is upsetting when you see people now, all these things that are going on, kidnappings, sexual abuse, domestics. I'm just like, this wasn't how I grew up. I grew up around fun, love. Everyone wants to go out, have fun, enjoy themselves. If you see sun, you want to go to the park. Like, I feel like people are even scared to do that. So yeah.
So you say it's draining. Is that pressure that you young people put on themselves, or is
Yeah.
it the society, or is it your peers, is it your contemporaries that are putting that pressure on you that you have to be in a particular way? So is it
I think
self-inflicted, or is it coming from other, sources like society or
okay.
parents, or where do you think all that pressure is coming from?
I think it starts with social media. It starts with what you see on a daily, because I've always grew up to think, yes, everything what your parents teach you is the be all and end all. But outside your house, there's a whole other world to experience. So the minute you now step outside your house, you're seeing social media, you're seeing this, you're seeing that. And I feel like that itself is the pressure that kids put on themselves, because you'll see that, oh, this person made it to be a millionaire at the age of 18. You're looking at yourself at 18 thinking, but I'm just going uni. So what? I shouldn't go uni. Then they will now drop out of uni and try and become that person, where
All
it
right.
was like,
Okay.
there might be different things that they had to do beforehand to get them there. You can't just think, oh, we're the same age, so you did it, I can do it, and then just drop everything, because it doesn't work like that. Everyone has their own story to tell.
So did you, I mean, we're going to go a bit personal now because it's you. Did you did you ever come under that kind of pressure yourself? Because I mean, I know you, but when you went to university, I didn't see you. Did you ever come under that kind of pressure, and how did you deal with it? Or did you see somebody come under that kind of pressure, and how do you think they dealt with it? All that pressure of having to, I don't know whether the appropriate word is perform or
Yeah.
become what they see, and how do you think it was dealt with?
I feel like me myself, I was under pressure at times, because especially with the people that I keep around me, everyone was very driven. Everyone was very, oh, we need to. Sometimes it could be, oh, okay, but the things that they're doing may not always be correct, or let's say biblical, like Christian, because the way that they're trying to go around things is, I wouldn't personally do that because I've not been taught to do that. But is this the way that I should be doing it? And then obviously, when I've now made it, I can now be like, oh yeah, God, like now you're there. But I had to just take a quick detour. Yeah, that's the mindset I had when I was like 16, 17. But before I even went into uni, because I was just seeing everyone like literally getting money, making this. And at the time, I hadn't had a job or anything. So I'm thinking, what do I need to do? And then, but it took just the listening to obviously people that I look up to, my family, just seeing them, and it's just like, you know what? No, there's always a different way. There's always a different route. There's always just prayer, guidance, and that kind of stuff will just take you far.
Okay, so you were at a point. Your connection is a bit spotty, but I'll just keep putting it together. But that's fine. So you were at a point where you were like, I'm a Christian, yeah, but
Yeah,
you still have to have those things that
yeah,
everybody seems to have, but going on the straight and narrow at this point doesn't seem like it's delivering. So
yeah.
there
It's
was
not
that.
getting those things.
It
Yeah,
wasn't. It wasn't really delivering. So there was that. At some point, there was that temptation to step out a bit, if we could use that
yes,
phrase. Hi, David. Get some stuff and then come and give your Come on, give
Testimony back,
me
yeah.
Ryan, let me check if you gave any testimony during that period. Sorry, I had to do
No, Auntie.
that. Right. So we do. So you guys actually go through that kind of pressure to
Yeah,
when you, especially when it seems as if it's the guys that are not really walking in the faith that seem to be, you know, getting,
that is, yeah.
ahead. Yeah. And so you said you got through this through prayer, and but did you also do, I know, through prayer, through counsel, and just making sure you were around the right people. But did you do anything else in terms of, did you get into work? Did you get any training? Did you get any advice in terms of actually doing, because now you do music, but did you think of your music as something you could use in
Okay,
that
so
sense?
when obviously growing up, I attended TNT, and it's a youth church service. So a lot of people, especially looking up to like the elders, the counselors, I would
Yeah.
just go up to them and ask them, okay, so I don't want to do ABC, but I still want to get to this result. How do I do that without going through ABC? So then listening to certain different counselors, especially if I can name one, Ope at the time that I used to go to a lot.
Who's that? Okay.
He Yeah, Ope. So
Yeah.
he would just tell me that in life there's always gonna
Helen
be
Didi, how are you?
there's always
Go
gonna
on.
be right and wrong. But
Yes.
and as much as yes, you're seeing non-Christians making it to the point where you want to make it, at the end of the day, they have no substance, they have no foundation. And that was something that was really important to me, because he was like, yes, you make it, and yes, you are now, I don't know, you're known, you've got money, you've got all this stuff. But what do you gain from it? What is it that you've now accomplished really? Because you could be on your own, like you're not surrounded by anyone because you've chosen to be this way. So what I did practically is that I just made sure, like I said, I surrounded myself with people. I got a job. Yeah, I did get a job. I worked in my school first of all, and then they recommended me to somewhere else where I was able to just work, make money for myself, um, be able to finance myself as well, which was really important for me because I wasn't getting any younger. And then working in the church as well, just doing little things like the youth, when it came to like the youth children's camp, just looking after the children and stuff, just getting a feel more of just being independent, but the right way. Because I felt like independence for me was looking very this way, and I didn't want it to be a certain way. So
This way and that way, this way and that way. I think we're talking, we're talking in a lot of code, but I do understand because you were Christian from very young,
yeah,
relatively young, at least as a teenager, and by the time you get to those years, as you grow older, and you begin to get faced with all these temptations and all these desires, which are not, I mean, the desires to do well, to prosper, to be wealthy, especially when you see your contemporaries and your peers doing that, there's that temptation. And so what you did was you made sure you got good counsel, and then also you made sure that you got a job. I'm sure it wasn't a it wasn't a big paying job. I'm sure
it
it
was
was,
a big pain. No.
but you got yourself doing something
Yeah,
legitimate, something
practical. Yeah,
right, and then you were doing something practical. I mean, you were doing your music as well. Were you doing your music at
yes,
that time as well? Yes, you were. You
I
were.
did my
You
music
were doing your
18.
music
Yeah.
as well. Okay, good. So go on, sir.
No, I was just saying that I started my music then. Yes.
Okay, good. Hello, Nee. Hello, Hetty. Hello, Bobs. Nice to have you. Nice to have you guys. My guest today is Ryan Bryan, otherwise known as DJ RMB underscore one. Ryan, come on. Couldn't you find something easier?
My name's too long.
That's DJ Ryan Bryan. I kept searching for Ryan Bryan. I didn't find on Instagram. All the ones I was like, I don't know this one. Anyway, so this is Ryan. I've known Ryan since Ryan was about 12 or 13. And look at him now. He's a man, but he owes me a lot, so he's here. Um, all right, so Ryan, that's one side. Another thing that I've always been interested in for young people is, especially for young men, when you guys are under pressure or when you are in difficult situations, who do you talk to? Where do you go?
Um, as a man, and I'm talking for myself,
Young
I
man.
am very, I'm very quiet. I don't want to talk about my issues. I don't want to talk about my problems. I would rather just say I'm good and keep it moving than having to actually deal with something and having to actually face this thing head on. Because I know that maybe one, I'm not emotionally ready to even handle what it is, or just I just don't want to don't want to be in that mood of upset and just so what I but if it did get to a point where I needed to tell someone, I have a really good brother. He's basically my best friend, Ira. Anything I
Ah,
ever need, I'll talk to him. Do you get it?
okay.
So anything that I'm struggling with, whether it be small, whether it be large, I'll just be like, yo, bro, here it is, and he'll just talk to me. And the thing I like about Ira, and I'm the same way when I'm giving advice, is he'll take it from a worldly point of view first, and then bring it back to the Bible. So it's not just he's not just hitting you with Bible quotes and just saying, oh well, you know what, this is this and this and this. He's like, no, here's some practical advice, and here's how the Bible backs up that practical advice. So I like the angle that he takes it from as well.
Okay. All right. I'm going to get you to repeat a couple of places because, like I said, it's your connection in Instagram, in Jamaica, eh? What's
It's
up?
not it's not strong. It's not
Okay,
strong.
so I know Ira, and Ira was my third guest on Young and Strong. Ira just blew up Instagram when he came. Hello, Moshope. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Shemaine, for joining us. So, Ira, yes. So you go to Ira. Ira is your contemporary, isn't he? But he's a wise young man, and he's somebody you're comfortable with when you
Yeah,
have issues, right? As a
yeah,
young man.
yeah.
Okay. Is there any time when you seek older advice? You see, on Young and Strong, like we have said, they don't call us the old generation, maybe the relatively older generation.
Relatively.
You know, but don't you dare say hey, the elderly because somebody came and called me the elderly. I beg your pardon, or the older. But is there any time when you feel that you should? Hello, Shay. Nice to see you. When you feel that you know what, I love Ira. Ira has good, and I love you, Ira. Ira knows I love him. But this is not something for contemporary. Is there any time when you would defer to the older generation?
So,
Us.
um, yeah, so
Choose your words.
what a perfect example would be you, Aunty. As I have come to you when it does get very rough, and I do feel like there's certain people, especially in my family, certain aunties that I can go to that I can just feel comfortable around and just be very straight up. They don't want to hear a sob story. They don't want to hear a version of the story. They just want to hear what it is, how are you feeling, and how can we help. And I feel like this is why I also call you family, Auntie, because you are exactly like that with me. You don't beat around the bush. You tell me exactly how it is. You would just say, Ryan, this is wrong. Ryan, this is right. Ryan, what do you need help with? And I need that
Okay.
because I'm someone that can get very lost in my mind. And if I don't have a
Okay.
very clear instruction or a clear path or a clear, this is what it is, this is how you should feel, I need that kind of reassurance, let's say as well.
Okay.
So I would go to people like you and then my aunties, and I've also gone to pastors as well. So my pastor Dippo from my church and
Okay.
Pastor Bumi.
Okay. So there are times when young people, because one thing that has been kind of like like a thread that has run through quite a lot of these sessions that I've had have been that a lot of times, and I think that was one of the first things you said, was that a lot of time young people would talk to their friends first or talk
Yes.
to their contemporaries first before they'll feel, okay, I'm going to escalate this a bit more. Or
Mm.
why do you think there's that initial shift to my contemporaries or my peers, or and some even said no, I won't go to my parents, or why do you think young people are like that, where initially you're like, let me try my level first.
I think it's because they can relate to it the best.
Okay.
Parents and the older generation love to say, "Oh, we've been there, we've lived that, like we've been there, done that, had the t-shirt." But it's more of, I don't want someone that's been there. I want someone that's there now.
Ah,
I just feel
is it
like
like
it's a
misery
very
loves company or what?
no. I don't even
Okay,
think
we're contemporaries in this issue or what? Eh?
because
You're
that
suffering,
and
I'm
that it
suffering,
is,
I feel better now.
but that's true. And as much as it's as much as that is terrible, that is quite the reality of young people. They feel
Kind of
like,
like,
oh, they can relate to you, so we can do this together. Do you get it? Or we can make it out together. You're going through this, I'm going through this. We're going to come together, and then we're going to both have great stories to tell. But you don't want to go to someone that is already on the other side, because it's patronizing, or it can be very, oh, you just want me to hurry up and get to where you are, but I don't even know how you got there. It that's just what plays in a young person's mind. Me personally, I do feel like I can do both. That's why I said, when I'm not talking to someone like Ira, I would just go to my auntie and I would just go to you, because I've seen how just peers can be very detrimental as well, because they can just give you the advice of, oh, just keep going. That's it. They just say keep going. Whereas someone older can be like, you're going to feel this way and you're going to want to quit. But
yeah,
at the points that you want to quit is the points where you need to pray harder, the points where you need to come stronger, is the points where only someone that's been through it can give you that kind of advice.
yeah,
Not someone that is there at the moment. Yeah.
of course, of course. Thanks, Mokwe. Thanks for joining us, Coach Talks. Thanks for being here. Again, I'll keep talking about, this is Bryan, my guest, my young person today. Yoran is one of my lovely, lovely people. I've known him since I was taller than him. It's not that like that anymore. I watch him grow, and it's just amazing. The great, great things that you guys are doing now, and it just brings a lot of joy to my heart when I talk to you guys and see what you're doing and what you're accomplishing, and to be able to also learn what exactly goes on in you people's minds. Do you understand? I find it I find it fascinating that we're going through this together. Let's look for somebody that's been there, but be like, no, 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 we're going to be all right together. And it's amazing. And I'm glad that at least at some point, some of you understand that you do need the older generation. I'm kind of like flying the flag for my generation now. We're not bad, we're not bad people. We want the best. Another thing that I talk about is relationship with parents. Okay. I've had different kinds. Some people get along with their parents, some don't. But there's this thread again about how difficult sometimes it is to talk to our parents about what we're going through. Um, what do you think when you know young people say, I can't talk to my dad, I can't talk to my mom about that? Why
Mm.
do you think that is?
I I don't. Cause the thing is, even with myself, I would rather go to my mother's sister than go to my mother. So I'd rather go to my auntie than go to my mother. I don't know if it's because they're from the outside looking in, because obviously I don't see them on a regular, I don't wake up, see them, go to sleep, see them. Maybe it's because of how close your parent is to you, that
Mm.
maybe, and it's just like they can give you the quote unquote the reality of things because they see you every day. So they know exactly what you're doing from what you're not doing.
That's your
Whereas,
parent.
yeah, that's your parent. Because,
Yeah.
like, for example, me going to my mother, and I also do feel like it does I'll play a part where it's like me go to my mother and then she'll be like, but why are you in this situation? But then I'm like, okay, I've got in the situation now. Can we not just talk about the results of how to get out of it and not talk about why I'm here? Whereas if I go to my
Okay.
very much, okay, what do we do about this now? And I've noticed that as well. And even talking to my other friends and other people that I hang out with, they're always more comfortable talking to still family, but it would be an uncle or an auntie, someone that is again on the outside looking in, because they're very much more, okay, how can I help? Not just grilling you down. I don't know if it's a parent thing, but their first instinct, or at least I've noticed first instincts, is to more get at you for the situation than help you.
Oh, any parents on there who think he's right? Do parents really like, you mean first they blame you first and get upset
Yeah.
with you and be like, how did you find yourself there?
Yeah,
And you guys don't want that. You're just like, okay, what's the situation? I'm already feeling bad enough.
exactly. Yeah.
Why shouldn't we first be livid and upset? Come on. What's up with
Because
that?
we're past that.
Sorry?
We're past the living in upset situation. I
No,
was
you're
upset when I
past
got
it. We're not. You're just telling us now. You've got to give us that space to be like, I mean, come on. You got to give us that. You got to give us that space. So if you're avoiding that, sorry, you have to come and we have to tell you first. But no, no, but look at it. I do understand the fact that you kind of like don't want that bit. But really and truly, do you understand? I mean, even listening to us talking about it, the fact that we've got to be able to say,
yeah.
really, really, you know, and do you think parents that you guys need to cut us parents some slack?
100%. 100%. 100%. And I've
Yes.
realized that as I've gotten older,
Yeah.
not in my young years, 16 to 18. I've realized it now from 21 onwards, when I've kind of become more independent, where I'm just looking back and I'm like, my mom could have been doing AB. Like, my mom could have been got her gone to uni again if she wanted to, travel the world if she wanted to, do this if she wanted to, but she's taken a lot of time to just put me first.
Right.
So I do understand that. And I think this is also another reason, if I can bring this up as well, and I think this is more maybe personal, but maybe someone else can relate as well, is the fact that you've seen your parents sacrifice, you've seen your parents do A, B, C. So when you've now got into a situation, you don't want to go to them because it's like, I don't want to disappoint you,
Okay.
because you've literally sacrificed the world for me, and I've now turned the world upside down, and I'm now going to give you back an upside down world, and it's going to be like, yes, you can help me, but I just genuinely feel like, how could I have been raised such a great way, and how many sacrifices that you've made for me to be of this certain place, and I'm making mistakes? Because to me, it's a slap in your face. And it's just like, as much as, yes, people do make mistakes as you grow up, it's natural. I just feel like, especially the certain mistakes that you can make that may be very detrimental in terms of your situation at the time, I just feel like, yeah, maybe I should talk to someone else. Just talk to like my auntie. I need someone that's not with me every day, that she can just now give me a outside point of view and then tell me, okay, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. Because especially when I come to my mother, I don't like going to her with a problem. I like to come to her with a solution.
Right. Okay. Hello, Uncle Bumi. Thanks for joining. As you can see, I've got Bryan here. See, Uncle Bumi is here to keep an eye on you. Um, but the thing about it is, but you understand that it doesn't help when I understand we want to protect our parents sometimes from the hurt and the disappointment of, having seen them do so much, and then we produce that which doesn't correlate with all the sacrifices they've done, and you're like, I've really messed up. I shouldn't put this on mom again. I shouldn't put this on,
Yeah,
dad again, and all that. But do we understand that that doesn't make the situation better, because the last thing they want to do is now find out that it's somebody else that is sorting you out?
I
Sometimes.
understand that. Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes. Sometimes it's okay, carry your trouble somewhere else, but really most of the time. But most of the time, parents, yes, cut parents some slack, but at the same time, is there something that you think it will be helpful for parents to know to be able to help young people? So I understand I've said, cut parents and stuff, but from your end, is there something, if you could, you'd be able to tell parents, look, as young people, this is what we would like?
I think it would be in the case of when I've said something to you the first time, when a child has said something to you, your first reaction should be how you were at that age.
Ah,
I know, I know
oh,
it's
I
not
remember.
always gonna. No, I just, I just mean in your
Change, are you
your
talking
mind,
about
like your teenage years,
that?
like your young years, you know. So I just feel like if I've made a mistake that is, let's say, normal to a teenager, but it's still a mistake, I would want you to approach it as, you know what? Not to be like cut me some slack as well, but it's a thing of you've been a child, like you've been a teenager yourself, you've been a young person yourself. You probably made the same mistake as well. Let's just, find level ground and not just come at me full gun blazing. Well, you shouldn't have done that. Because I know I shouldn't have done it. That's why I know it's a mistake. However, if sometimes parents could just look at it as, you know what, I was in that situation when I was your age and I did this. Like, for example, let's say I was around a lot of people that smoke and they were asking me to smoke, and maybe one day I was holding a cigarette and someone saw me and told my parents. I'm not now saying that my parent has ever smoked, but I'm now saying, how peer pressure is, just the peer pressure, and you could come from a point of, okay, Ryan, this is completely unacceptable. This is wrong. However, let me now talk to you about, as in kind of now teach you about peer pressure and kind of counsel me on the fact that you should always stand on your own two legs. You should never and then just go on down that route instead of just full on gun blazing. Should have done this, and then we leave the conversation there. But then it's like I've still not learned more about, or I've still not been educated on the forms of peer pressure, so then it can easily happen again, and it might be a bigger scale. It could be robbing a bank or robbing somewhere, or just, but that's the scale of which young people can, because if you don't tackle the little things, where it could just be stealing a sweet from the shop because you were hungry, where it now becomes stealing clothes from a shop because you didn't have enough money to pay for it. Like, there's things that could have been prevented in the middle, but I feel like a parent's first instinct is tell you it's wrong than telling you what's right.
Oh, so you think it's more about teaching what's right rather than telling us what is wrong and catching us only when you've done wrong, rather than, but do you think that comes from actually building having built a relationship
Yes,
with your
I think,
child?
yeah.
Because there's no use now trying to correct things in your teens when as a child you didn't even pick it up as your child was growing up, and then the horse has bolted and you're now shutting the stable door. You know.
No, I do. Yeah, 100%. And obviously, with myself, it's only been me and my mother. So we've always said it's me and you against the world. So we've always made sure we've kept that close relationship. So when it came to now my teenage years, I remember one example I can give that was very, very prominent is I was in a situation where I was nearly forced to steal something. I didn't do
What?
it.
Sorry, we lost that a bit. You were in a situation where
Oh, I was in a situation where I was being peer pressured to steal something. However, I didn't do it, but my first instinct was to go home and tell my mother. As I've now gone home and told my mom, she approached it in the way of, oh, well, you know what? When I was younger, this same situation happened to me. And then we spoke, we were able to have a conversation. I feel like a lot of times that's all a child or a young person needs, is just to have a conversation with their parents, and not every day the shouting, the bickering, the because it shuts you off emotionally. Because then it just builds. As much as yes, I feel like 100% there are times when a parent needs to be a parent and a child needs to be a child. But as I'm growing up, certain times there can be that common ground of let's sit down and talk. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. And I think that's very important. One thing that me and mom do is before the end of the year, around December the 30th, December the 31st, we always, without a shadow of a doubt, have a talk just about the year, about things that I may have done wrong, things that I've, and I think that has always been so helpful, especially going into the new year, to just be like, okay, how do you think you can change, or what do you think you need to do better? And then same thing, mom will be like, oh, what does she feel like she needs to improve on, or maybe say better? And it's an open space. Like we literally say whatever is on our mind. And I just feel like that could be the same for everyone. I just think just that moment of conversation is important. Yes, they're still your parent. Never ever forget that. Don't come to them with disrespect, but 100% needs to be a conversation. There needs to be a dialect between a parent and a child, and not just the dialect of shouting, and not just the closing of the doors and the, oh, I'm shutting you out, or I'm being silent now because I'm angry with you, because that doesn't solve much. It just makes the situation closed off and remove it, instead of saying, you know what, why were you in that situation in the first place? I was in that situation because this is what happened. Okay, do you see how you could have avoided that? Like just having the conversation and then having the child come to the realization that, you know what, this is where I went wrong. Instead of you just telling me what's wrong, you can even get them to understand this is where you went wrong.
okay. Well, that's quite interesting. Every end of the year, you have a conversation. I think that's really beautiful. Actually, I haven't had anybody do that yet, where you have your culture. But it talks about relationship,
Yeah.
because the fact that you have a position in a family doesn't mean there's a relationship, is there? The fact
No.
that I am the mom and you are the child doesn't translate automatically into the fact that there is a relationship. That has to be built. The
Yeah.
titles, if I could call them that, the titles or the words or the positions or the roles that people play in a family does not automatically translate into the kind of relationship that they enjoy. And I think it's beautiful what you've just said. I mean, especially, I mean, coming from a single parent family, that you still are able to, as a young man, and I believe you're still going to do it 2021 end of the year, that you're still able to. So is that something that, because that's something, and I hope it's okay if we just talk about this briefly, where sometimes you see young men, especially when it's just their mom, there seems to be a lot of conflict and a lot of, oh, you know, there's no dad and all that. How do you think you've been able to continue to maintain that respect and that love for your mom still?
Okay, so I grew up around a lot of females because my mom has five sisters.
Okay.
So, in terms of respect for a woman, to start off there, has always been there, and it was drilled. like physically drilled into me from very, very young. So yeah. But in terms of the no male lead or the no male role model in my life, I feel like in terms of and this is one thing I'll always commend my mother for, is that she did play both roles very well. And when it got to a point where she didn't or couldn't play the male role in a certain situation, for example, when it came to me growing up in certain areas, I had uncles that I was very open with,
Okay.
and I really appreciate the fact that I had uncles. For example, my mother's sisters, like I said already, their husbands
Right.
became like my fathers basically. Like I would look at my uncle and I would basically like say to him like this, that you are like a father to me, because the way he has taught me and the way he's just been able to sit down with me, and it's not just been a room full of females, because that's literally how it usually is, just a room full of females. Every time there's a massive family gathering, it's just a room full of females and then me. But it was nice to have the male figures that would take me to the side, or like
Okay.
take me and like my cousin to the side, be like, okay, so what's going on relationship wise, peer pressure wise, and would have real conversations. And that's one thing as well, is real. I don't like, and I feel like a lot of parents need to learn the difference between having conversations that are the everyday norm and then having real conversations,
Real
because
conversations.
I don't want the tick box conversation. I don't want the how are you today, how is school, how is the I want someone, and this is why I was really happy that my mom was like this, is to say, you know what, you're in uni now. I know there's a lot of pressure when it comes to sex. Let's talk about it. You're in uni now. There's a lot of pressure when it comes to drugs and alcohol. Let's talk about it. That there was real conversations. It wasn't just conversations of, oh yeah, so you got a girlfriend, yeah. Oh my God, how's your studies going? Like the tick box. I always call them the tick boxes. Now that I've said it, I can tick that off. Okay, how's your son? Oh, he's good. He said his exams are good, and he says that he's getting along well. But that hasn't told me personally how I am. All you've asked me is, how was school? How's your studies? Are you getting along with your teachers? And then you leave it there. I want the real of, you know what, how did you find first year? How did you find freshers week? Being around so many people and in your own space, like real conversations I feel like need to be had. And that's why I was happy that again, my mother played both roles so well and she was able to just be real with me. She never hid anything. Like she said, you know what, my life's an open book, because it's the only way that she knows can help me. And I feel like her being so open allowed that
That
us to be
conversation,
open. Yeah.
relationship. That's wow. That wow. You don't leave me speechless many times. It must be a first for you, Ryan. Hello, Rachel. Val, thank you for joining us, talking to Ryan. That is amazing. And I thought, because I had you on here, I thought that was very, very important for people to hear. And I think you've put it very well. And I mean, shout out to Ryan's mom. I mean, for that, I think it's amazing, because sometimes you find out that mom can't do it, but she won't let anybody else do it. And it's amazing that, realizing that there's that gap and that need, she found somebody who was able to fulfill it for you. And I think it's very, very important. And I do from the bottom of my heart, I do commend her for that. Um, right, as we're gradually rounding up, because I know you have to go and play music somewhere. Let's see. I'm gonna go do some Jamaican music. Anyway, let's see, Ryan. If there was something, now that you're in your 20s, 23, if there is something you could tell the teenagers coming after you, what is one thing that you will tell them?
Um, One thing I would tell teenagers, especially before like the uni stage of teenagers,
Yes.
I would say to them, first things first, don't look at life through one glass. Like, don't look at life through one way. It's not, there's not just one way that there is to life, because people don't just become what they want overnight. People don't just wake up one day and say, yeah, this is it, this. Because, for example, just looking at certain people, you could see someone making it where they started selling products in their school, and now they're selling products at a national stage. That's not everyone's story, you know.
Okay.
I always want to say to young people, find your story, you
Fine.
know,
Sorry.
tell your story, because
Oh, sorry.
everyone's story is going to be different. Do you know
Amazing.
what I mean? Um, Another thing that I would really, really, really make sure people really understand is know who your circle is and know who is around you. And it's actually okay to not have many people, because especially when you're 16, 17, if you don't have at least 12 friends, you're nobody. If you don't have at least 13, 14 people around you, you're a nobody. It's okay to just have one or two. It's okay to just have the small amount, because that small group of three could become the next three billionaires. That small group of three could become the next three biggest authors, the three biggest da 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 da. It's a thing of a smaller group is, it means you each know each other like this. You each know each other's strengths, weaknesses. You can each build up in each other. And I learned that the hard way, because I learned that late. And that's why I really want to say to young people is, don't think because you have 20 friends and 25 friends and 30 friends that you're somebody. Because when the time gets rough, when you're now in that hospital bed, everyone's going to message you saying, are you okay? But there's only going to be one or two people that will come to the hospital to come and see you and
Mm.
actually, be there for you. That's not just family. And those are the ones that you should really cherish, because those are the ones that will go out of their way for you. And those are
Amazing.
the ones that you should build a greater relationship with. I learned this very late, and it ended up with me not realizing that I had a lot of good friends, good, solid friends. But I chose the popularity over the foundation and solidity of a good relationship and a good friendship.
Okay.
And that's why I really want to drill into young people. Have good, solid friendships.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's what I
That
would say.
that is deep. That is the wow. Okay, you're really doing good points, Ryan. I'm impressed.
I've learned from you. I've learned from
I'm
you, Auntie.
impressed. I mean, that is deep. Write your own story and have good, solid friends. It's not in the how many. It's the few committed foundational friendships that you have. Right. One more question, Ryan. So you've talked to the people coming up. What is one thing you would tell your contemporaries, your 23-year-olds, your 21-year-olds, your 24-year-olds? What is one thing that you would love to drop with them at this time?
Um, Same thing in the first point is that it's never too late to change your story. It's never too
Okay.
late to
That is
rewrite that
very important.
story,
To rewrite the
because
story.
I definitely feel like once you hit an age of 23, like that I am, you feel like, oh, you should have been finished with uni by now. You should have done this. You should have done this. By 23, I should be looking my wife. I should be, again, not everyone's story is the same. Gee, Auntie, I don't have a Brenda. Don't look at me.
I wasn't going to say that. I wasn't going to say that. I wasn't going to say that, Ryan. I didn't say you did.
But yeah, literally, it's a thing of just knowing that your story doesn't have to be the model story, but you know that your story is yours.
Okay.
So you could come out of uni, take a break, live your life, gain work experience, gain practical work, and then go back. Nothing wrong with that. There is no right or wrong answer when it comes to telling your own story, because no one can tell you you're wrong. It's yours. That's one thing that people need to understand. It is yours.
Story.
You are the author of your own story. Don't let anyone else take their pen and come and write a chapter because it's not making sense. It's not you going to live that. It's me that's going to have to live it. So
Brilliant.
I definitely feel like you're never too old to just be like, you know what, this is not the story I wanted. This is not where I wanted to just, rip out a couple pages and start again. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. Wow. True, true talk. I could have said it better myself. Maybe I could have, but no. Brilliant, Ryan. Brilliant, brilliant. I love the things you've said, and I say this with all sincerity. I might joke, I might laugh. Of course, I laugh. But I mean, what you've just said is so true. You can change your story. Uh, and I think that's important for young people to always hear. Don't get stuck and think, oh, well, it's too late. You can
Yeah.
actually change your story. One final question. Wow, I just want to keep talking to you, but maybe I have to get on the phone to do that. One final question I just want to ask. What part does your faith play in your story, in your life? I know you started off and you've talked a lot about being a Christian and all that, but now as a young man, as a 23-year-old, you're doing music. You're charting your path and you're writing your story. What part does your faith play in all this?
Um, I've always made sure that everything I do has Christ at the center. And I think that is something so important for me because if I don't do that, I do feel like it's very easy for me to just go down a route and I won't even remember that it was actually God that even got me here. Especially when of my younger years, especially when I used to give testimonies a lot in church, that a lot of things was happening that was great and it was all good and it was all like, yes, I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm getting these kind of grades and I'm this and I'm that and this. But it was only when I realized, yo, pause. A lot of this sounds like self. A lot of this sounds like you're grateful for your brain. You're grateful for your things that you've done. You're grateful for this, when you should actually be grateful for God, grateful to God that He's been able to gift you with these things and that this is a gift that can easily be taken away. And I always say to myself, especially when it comes to playing at certain areas or certain things, when it comes to DJing or when it comes to musician, even worship nights, I will always start the same way. And people that are always around me will attest to this. I literally say, God, if this situation that I'm in right now is not your will, make me play badly, make something happen, make this, and just change this scenario completely if this is not what you want me to be in. I remember my first wedding booking, I didn't know the people at the wedding. I was just asked to play. So it was very different where I was playing music that I would not normally play. So I had to really say to myself, like, God, if any of this music, because it was different language, if any of this music is, not something that I should be playing, if any of this is not something that I should even be entertaining, if this scenario right now is not for me, get me out of it. And I think that's something that I've always made sure is that, God, anything I am doing, whether it's, oh, you've got an amazing opportunity here, you've got an amazing opportunity there, before I even say yes to it, God, is this good? Is this good with you? If it's good with you and it's good with me, let's go. And you just be real. It's not every day on your knees praying one long prayer. You don't need to. It's just literally, God, are we okay on this one? Can we both say yes? All
Yeah.
right, let's go for it. That's literally how I've taken. That's how I've taken my faith. I just make sure that it's not again, it's a conversation. I think I'm very big on conversations. I love a good conversation. I love someone that is just real. So
Yeah.
I don't need the whole, because even again, God is almighty. That's not never going to change. And I'm just a child of God. But at the same time, when I talk to him, you would think that we're peers. I'll just be like, you know what, God, like honestly, right now, the situation is not working, but I don't know if I should carry on or if I should this is this. And he'll just, and the thing is, the way he answers it as well, it will be through people, it will be through situations, and I'll just be like, wait, that's too coincidental to not be God.
Excellent.
And that is how I'm able to just, progress my faith and progress everything, even when things get tough. And Auntie, things have been tough sometimes, that it's in those tough moments that I just sit by my keyboard, and it'll be sit by any instrument that I'm playing at the time. I'll sit by my keyboard and I'll just be playing, and a song will just come to me. And this is another thing that I really want to talk about really quickly is I love music to the point where God talks to me through music as well. There will
Amen.
always be a song that will just come to me, and the lyrics will just be my situation. And I'll just be like, oh, wow, okay, so this is what I need to do. This is how I need to handle that. God, I hear it, and I hear it plain as day because the lyrics said it exactly how it needed to be.
Wow. All right, you just had to end on a high, didn't you? Oh, Ryan, I'm so grateful. So grateful. And not just grateful, I am really proud of you. Really
Yeah,
proud of you. I'm grateful to God for what He's doing in your life. It's been a long journey, but hey, there's still a longer journey ahead of you. And I'm grateful to God for how far He's brought you. And my desire is that your story will be great and it will be
amen.
awesome. And I'll be there to read it, and the dedication will be to me and your mom. But
Amen.
well, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for the wonderful nuggets you've dropped, the amazing things. Write your story, you can change your story. Few friends, God at the center of it all, and parents, just listen and talk. Thank you so much for this. Thank you for all those who've joined us. Tolu, is so nice to see you after such a while. Valentine, my lovely aunt, Staduke Bopo. I mean, so many people. Mope. So many people have joined. Chi. I can't name everybody. Sorry, but thank you so much for joining us on this. Charmaine Barrett says proud of you. Is that
That's my auntie.
that Auntie, thank you so much for raising such an awesome young man. Awesome young man. Thank you so much, Ryan. Look forward to you. Have a lovely time in Jamaica. When you're coming back, you're going to quarantine. But I wish you all the best. Love you. Thank you everyone for joining us for the 11th episode of Young and Strong. We'll be back again in 2 weeks with another amazing young person. As you can see, I get excited. These guys are my own heroes. Somebody asked me one time, who are your heroes? I said, it's my young people. They are my heroes, and you just met one of them. So thank you, everyone. Thanks, Ryan. Auntie T
Thank you
loves you
very
as
much, Auntie.
always.
Love you
And
too.
thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening. Stay safe, and God bless you. Bye, everyone. Bye, Ryan.
Bye, Auntie.
Bye. Bye.